Good day, Saints. This is Pastor Lewis Sloan of Faith International Ministries. Today I'm going to break into our regular series, Your Relationship with God, to discuss with you just my perspective so that you know what Pastor is coming from and what Pastor is thinking on these events that are going on in the world today. Today's subject, the pandemic of institutional racism. It's an uncomfortable subject, but I'm just going to address it here in the next few minutes, a small part of it. When I say institutional racism, that means it's been a pattern for a long time. It's been established. It was established before this country was founded. It was established in the Constitution, where we were not considered equal to other men. In the Constitution. Even though it says that all men are created equal. So it's been around a long time. It's been baked into the character of this nation. It's been baked in when the settlers came over and took the land from the Indians. This nation took the land from the Native Americans. This nation took people from Africa, brought them over on ships, cramped in the ships. Many did not make the journey to be slaves, to be placed in bondage for this nation. They were not treated as employees or contracted workers. They were treated as slaves. They were abused. They were beaten. And that went on for centuries. Then we had the Emancipation Proclamation. It was written on paper that we were free as a people, as black people, with strings attached. Some didn't know they were free for years after that. Institutional racism. We've always been looked down upon. We've always been looked at as less than. Yes, it's institutional. Yes, we look at children. Children are not taught that. Children don't know that when they're children. They are taught institutional racism. And the thing about institutional racism, people just think that's the way things are. So they don't recognize they have racial tendencies or they being racist in what they're doing. It's a fact. But the killing of George Floyd on Monday, when you watch the video, when you see the officer's knee on his neck, and you see him pleading for his life, I can't breathe. And then he calls for his mama. And you look at the officer's face, and it's one of indifference, arrogance. I don't care. With people begging him, telling him, let me check his pulse, telling him, you killing him. They did not care. They did not move. And all these emotions that have taken, all these things that have happened over the years with black men dying in the custody of law enforcement rush into you. And this one just is different. It's like we've had enough. It's at a breaking point now. The nation is boiling over. This is not new. We've been asking for it. With the civil rights movement, we were asking for it. It continued on through the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, now the 2000s. Many blacks and our partners of other races have been pushing for equality. But as you see, we're not there yet. You know, the great nation of America, we're not that great. We have issues. We have problems. We still have work to do to say that all men are created equal. Now, I'm not anti-law enforcement. I'm a big supporter of law enforcement. I am 57 years old. A 57-year-old black man. I've been around for a little while. And I have never had a negative encounter with a law enforcement officer. Never. It's always been professional. I'm a member of the board for the Citizens Alumni Association for the Sheriff's Office. I'm a member of the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Officers. I work in law enforcement. I'm not a sworn officer, but I work in law enforcement. I support law enforcement. Why do I do it? Why do I engage in these additional activities? Because I want them to be better. I want to be part of the solution. I don't want to be sitting back complaining. I want to be part of the solution where I'm engaging to make sure and to help it become a better relationship with the black community in law enforcement. Because I know it's stressed. I know it's damaged. I know there's not a lot of trust there, if any, in many cases. So when I say and point out these things, I'm not pointing them out and hateful. I'm pointing them out to issues that need to be addressed. We are to be treated equally. We ought to be treated with dignity. Those officers that I encountered treated me with dignity and respect. I treated them with dignity and respect. It goes both ways. But you know, as a law enforcement officer, you know some people don't like you, don't respect you, and they're going to treat you the way, but you know that coming into the job. That's not a surprise to you. Law enforcement officers have to be held accountable when they do wrong. They don't need to be protected by a union. If they did wrong, they need to serve the consequences of their actions. Other officers, the good officers around, they don't need to be silent. You saw those other three officers over on George Floyd. What did they do? Somebody mentioned, hey, we need to turn on. The other guy said no. And y'all just sat there and they all just sat there. Silence is complicity. So if you are a white American, your silence is complicity. It's not okay. It's like the Republican Party dealing with the president. Their silence is complicity with all his actions. It's not okay. But we will get through it. We will keep pushing. We will keep working, doing positive things to constructively engage with the law enforcement community to make it better. We're not giving up, caving in, and quit. But we all need to do it together as Americans. When I was commissioned as an officer in the United States Army, I took an oath. I've always been taught to live my life with honor and integrity. Treat everybody with respect. I carried that over as an officer in the military. I made sure my troops were trained, taken care of, treated them with respect, and it's always been my motto: people first, mission always. Law enforcement officers take an oath. I mean, you're giving special authority. You have the authority to take a life if necessary. But when you take a life that was not necessary, that was not following procedure, you must be held accountable. These DAs, these district attorneys, you must hold them accountable. Police chief, many are working on it. They're trying. You must be held accountable. You need to get out of the way. Officer did wrong. He needs to be punished. He needs to be held accountable. Officers should be held at a higher level of accountability than anybody else in the country because they have special authority and special authorization and special powers and arresting powers. It's a tough job. But you've been given special authority that must be respected by you as the officer, that you would treat everybody equally. The culture has to change. I am a man. I'm a pastor. I am an American, a veteran that was given an oath to sworn to protect this nation. And that's what I'm doing now to this day. So how did our ancestors get through all the time through slavery, through Jim Crow, through the 60s? Whew, so many horrible, horrible things happened. We lean on the Lord. We've always leaned on the Lord. That's the only way I see they made it. The only way I see my ancestors made it. Grandpa, grandmother, and grandfather, how they made it. Mother and father, how they made it. They leaned on the Lord. God's grace and His mercy. One of my favorite scriptures, Isaiah chapter 40, verse 31 says, "But those who wait for the Lord, who expect, look for, and hope in Him, will gain new strength, renew their power. They will lift up their wings and rise up close to God like eagles, rising toward the sun. They will run and not become weary. They will walk and not grow tired." Whew. I just lean on the Lord. This week I'm leaning on the Lord. I am within my own abilities. I can't do it. I can't do it. I lean on the Lord. That's how I get through. And I encourage you to do the same. If you know the Lord at this time, lean on Him. Because you can't carry this load. You can't make the change by yourself. It's going to take God's got to turn the heart of many more white Americans to make this change. That's just the truth. We need you to step up, step in, and get engaged. And those in the black community, continue to push, continue to constructively engage, continue to lean on the Lord. And we're going to be all right. We're going to be all right. God bless you. Stay safe. Take care.